Through the history of the human society and the emergence of political organizations in the form of governments, women have been marginalized from the decision-making tables. Thousands of laws were drafted and passed in support of the women's political inclusiveness, but unfortunately, we're still far away from reaching an ideal percentage of gender parity. In the past 2 decades, the United States and other Western countries, alongside with prestigious international organizations, such as the United Nations and the European Union, have spent trillions of dollars to increase women's political representation across the globe. But the outcome is still not ideal, even though there have been some achievements. According to the Congressional Research Service, women currently hold only 26.1% of legislative seats around the world, an increase from 14.2% of such seats in 2002. Good job, but still not enough. Women as the bedrocks of our society, who make up more than half of the world's population, are still considered a minority in the political arena. Let's recognize that as equal fellow humans that deserve to represent and be represented. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ahmad A. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Today, I am going to talk about why women are underrepresented in politics. But before moving forward, telling you the causes, challenges, and outcomes, I would like to ask you a question. Why are women underrepresented in politics? Well, the main causes are cultural and structural challenges. Men have dominated power through the entire history of the world. It's hard to replace them. The organizations that are established for women's empowerment are not well organized. They're scattered. And also women don't have the political freedom or the freedom of choice. They're subordinated to their men, and their men are, as the head of the households, are telling them who should they vote for when it comes to the election. But let's talk about the cultural and structural challenges. Cultural challenges. Cultural stereotypes, such as women are inferior, they're not fit for politics, they don't have the qualifications of becoming political leaders, have negatively affected women's political ambitions, and thus resulted in women's low representation. Also, religion. The teachings and doctrines of almost all religions have advised women to stay home and not go or run for politics because they're not fit for politics, they're not made for politics, and politics is a man thing. The third, but the worst one, is that women's were and still are in some regions considered to be man's property. This cultural belief is very dangerous in increasing women's political participation, because when they're considered as man's property, they're not giving the rights and not even considered equal human beings. The structural challenges, when we talk about the structural challenges, education comes first. Even though we understand that women don't have the equal educational opportunities in some parts of the world, but on the other part, educated women not only recognize the importance of their political participation, but also learn the civic skills such as writing, reading, the computer programs, and importantly, public speaking that are necessary for running and being elected to a political office, like for any political office. The second one is equal employment opportunities. There is no equal employment opportunities for women in some parts of the world, and that has caused women to be dependent on their men economically. And the third one is that they don't have enough time, as the book Women, Politics and Power by Paxton and her colleagues called it the second shift. When they come from their main jobs, coming home, they're doing the cleaning, dishing, cooking, washing, taking care of the family members. So they don't really have the time to engage in political activities. But what are the solutions? Quality education comes first. As explained before, through education, they understand the importance of their political participation and also learn the civic skills necessary for political offices. Labor force participation, when they participate in labor force, they understand the political games, and also they get income and they become rich and they can afford campaigns. But also the countries should adopt women supportive laws like quota. Quota is being the most important law for increasing women's participation. And also the election system, proportional representation election system is proven to be the best form of election system that results in increasing women's representation. But talking about quota, in a peer-reviewed journal by Christina Latham and her colleagues titled Prominent Role Models, quota is considered to be very significant. As they say, the adoption of quotas have positive effects on the number of women in the legislature. So quota is a law that is passed by a government, and they're guaranteeing a specific numbers of seats for women in the legislature. Well, there's a lot to talk about this topic, but for me to conclude, I would like you to remember these points. Women are underrepresented in politics. Cultural and structural challenges are the main causes of women's underrepresentation in politics. And also gender parity quota is very important for increasing women's representation in politics. But not only passing the quota, but also enforcing the quota. In most countries, there is a gender quota, if not the parity quota, which is 50%, but there is no enforcing body to enforce it. So with that being said, I would like to thank you so much and have a good time.